And welcome back to more Mega Man 4, where we're gonna finish off the 8 bosses. So to start with Divemin. And I'm going to Divemin stage next just because I want to get the wire out of the way. And one thing I should mention is how powerful the the flash stopper is. And see, all I'm doing here is just killing these fish. And as you can expect out of any water level in a Mega Man game, there are a buttload of spikes in this section. And there are also these things you can't kill. Or these things you can't kill. So let's just go around them. And let's see, one thing I do like about this stage is it is pretty easy to cruise through. And let's just show off how powerful Bright is. And yes, I just killed that whale before it even materialized, but really all that happens is that whale likes to shoot at you. And that's what you'll get. Oh, that's what a terrible idea. That's what an even worse idea. Alright, well hopefully Eddie can help me out here. Okay, that helps. See, I am gonna switch over to Drill now to deal with this jumping guy. And end up missing him somehow. And again, I think these guys are probably smarter than me. And yeah, with the Divemin stage, you do have to go across a lot of spikes. You also have to make a lot of tricky jumps. And then there's this part where the water likes to ascend and descend. And that is pretty consistent with different tides. Also getting a lot of slowdown here. Might as well show off what the whale mini-boss does. First he shoots missiles at you. And then he likes to do these things with the mines. So let's just take care of him now. And I am going to have to fight him again because what I have to do is go down here and get the wire. So let's just hang over to the middle here. And yeah, this is another one of those where you have to weave through the spikes. And one thing I should mention is that Mega Man 4 just loves to use spikes. And they do use that a lot in this game. And I think it was probably this one and then Mega Man 9 that abused it the most out of the classic series. And then we haven't even gotten to X8 yet. That's the X game that abuses spikes the most. But at least you can get some form of spike protection in that game, so it's not all that bad. So let's just get Bright going here. And that was a really awkward place to freeze him, but I just went ahead and froze him that way. Let's see, right here, this last section is going to feature having to get past these stingrays and these mines. And the mines activate whenever you get too close to them, and you can see it by them flashing. And then they explode. The explosion is kind of big, so you do have to watch out for not getting caught in it. So let's just keep going here. And yeah, I'm using the drills on these stingrays just because I find it to be useful. So here we are at Divemin, and I'm just going to use the Mega Buster here. And this is one guy, I'm actually a lot better at him with the Mega Buster than I am with his actual weakness, which is the Skull Barrier. And the reason the Skull Barrier gives me such a tough time is because I end up usually running into him whenever I try and use the Skull Barrier, or I end up or it ends up hitting one of the missiles and then the shield gets neutralized. But see, here all I'm doing is just staying on the ground and then just shooting away at him. And then killing him. So yeah, I usually have trouble with the missiles and trying to avoid them at the same time. So that's just why I use the Mega Buster, just to get rid of the missiles. But with Divemin done, we get the Dive Missile. Now, this is a pretty useful weapon. I do like using it, and what it does is it just homes in on whatever enemy. It's pretty important for dealing with some of the smaller enemies that like to either knock you into pits or knock you off platforms. So that is something that the Dive Missile is pretty useful for. But here we are in Skullman stage, and with Skullman stage, besides the kick-ass music, you also get a lot of tougher platforming. And what's gonna make this stage so tough is the tricky jumps that are associated with it. Let's see, the enemies aren't going to be that big an issue. Ow, that's not funny, game. But anyway, the enemies really aren't that big an issue because most of them can be taken out with a Mega Buster shot and then maybe a few pellets after that, but what is going to be tough is the tricky jumps, and we'll get into that pretty soon. Right now all I'm doing is just sliding around these shield bosses, or not bosses, these shield enemies. So let's just get up. And that is one thing I do like about recording these games, is that, you know, this is something I'm just having fun with. And unfortunately Eddie was not helpful, and I could have reset him, but nah, just keep going. Now if I was doing a race, I'd actually skip this section, but since I'm not, I can just use Rush Coil and get myself another energy tank. And then get Balloon going. And then just get over there just like that. And the balloon is really useful if you're trying to do a speed run. And yeah, I have seen a few that use the balloon a lot. So that's one of the reasons they go to Pharaoh Man first. And these guys can be taken out from behind with a ring boomerang. So let's just go ahead and deal with him. And fortunately the enemies can be taken out pretty quick here. And the caterpillars really aren't that big a problem. But they can be if they're on narrow ledges. Just like that when they try and knock you off. And let's see, let's just kill this guy. And get ourselves another energy tank, so we should be in pretty good shape for the final stages of the game. This jump is one of those pixel perfect jumps, but I'm just gonna do this the easy way. But never mind that, let's just get some flash stopper going. And this is what makes this weapon useful. And I end up failing that jump, which should be no surprise at all considering that I am recording. So I'll just see you back when I'm there. Okay, well there goes my no death streak. Let's see, what was I doing? Yeah, I was trying to make this jump. There we are. And what makes the flash stopper so overpowering in this part is that you can freeze skeletons and then just end up shooting them. Just like so. And if you didn't have that, then normally they would break and then reform themselves, kind of like Dry Bones in Super Mario Brothers. But regardless, here we are at Skullman. And you can do this thing where you can just stand still and then nothing happens. Alright, that's enough of that. Let's just get to fighting here. His weakness is the Dust Crusher. And he really isn't that tough. He is predictable, but it is pretty easy to run into him by missing your jumps. Alright, let's just get him out of here. And that is the end of Skullman. Yeah, unfortunately I'm not having as good a run as I normally do, but you know, that's just the risk we take when we choose to record ourselves and put it on the internet. See, the Skull Barrier is a pretty good shield weapon. It is pretty underrated actually, even though it dissipates in one hit. It is actually pretty underrated for, you know, just getting across everything. I mean, you can use it on the rocks and Drillman stage. You can use it to get rid of a whole bunch of things that are either if there are too many on the screen or if there are too many things going on. You could always use that thing to help you out. But regardless, we are here at Toadman stage. And Toadman stage is actually pretty challenging for our first stage. And they use this, or they do this by having a bunch of difficult jumps, such as these. And end up having birds that like to knock you off. Alright, at least I got that one back. So let's just keep going here. And yeah, this is another part where I'm gonna abuse the flash stopper. Just like so. Oh, whoa, that almost screwed up my timing. And yeah, I did almost get a power up and almost ended up missing that jump because of it. So let's just stay back here. And yeah, I just didn't want that thing getting the drop on me inadvertently. And the flash stopper is going to be pretty useful against the snail, and this is going to be the mini boss, and pretty much all he does is either he shoots his eyes at you, or he likes to shoot bombs at you. I'm just trying to get him to shoot his eyes. But you know what, I just decided to kill him instead. And that's just the easy way to do it. And naturally, because this is a Mega Man game, you're going to be facing that mini boss more than once. And this time it's going to be over a waterfall, and with the waterfall, if you're not careful, it can push you off into a pit. So that's just something to keep in mind. Yeah, you know what, I don't feel like dealing with you guys. And here I was thinking they couldn't... Oh, that was well done. Here I was thinking that they couldn't jump up after me. Or they couldn't turn around. So I'm just doing this the easy way. Just like the rest of this Let's Play. So here we are against Toadman, and with Toadman, if you don't shoot him quick enough, he is going to use that Rain Flush attack, and it is unavoidable. So what you have to do is just keep shooting him and then sliding under him. Just like so. I mean, if you know what Toadman's gonna do, usually he's the easiest guy, and that's why everybody goes after him first. Which is a pretty sensible option, assuming you can make it through this stage. So with all that done, we have got ourselves the Rain Flush. And the Rain Flush is also pretty useful for clearing out enemies. And I do use it in a Ringman stage just to get like the Saturns out of there and some of the turrets. And it is pretty useful. So here's our password. And Dr. Kozak's castle has opened up, so join me next time as I go over there and teach this Russian dude a lesson. See you then!